So, summer is coming to an end, but still no news about Planetside Arena. What is happening? Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Fable as usual, and today we're going to talk about a game that has been forgotten kinda. At least that is how it feels to me. But having said that, I think this is the future of Planetside. You might know one of my colleague content creators over there in the Planetside community called Commander Sirius or Sirius Gaming, and in his latest video he talked about his future, or actually what he has done, what he has reached so far, because he actually had 20k subscribers in a Planetside channel, which is really an amazing goal. But he also mentioned over there that Planetside Arena is going to be the game in the future, and therefore he had a hard time creating Planetside 2 content. And while I don't really agree with that, I love the game, I still think there's enough potential for more videos, more content, and I still see a future for Planetside 2. I do agree with him that probably in the future, Planetside Arena is going to be the game for Daybreak, and it might make them or break them. Whether or not you like the concept of Planetside Arena, I think it's going to be important for you either way, because it might have impact on Planetside 2 and it might have impact on Planetside 3 in the future as well. And therefore I'm really looking for more news, more rumors and more stuff about Planetside Arena. And luckily, after hearing like nothing for ages, I see more and more rumors popping up. The most interesting story about Planetside Arena I've read so far was posted 2 days ago on the Planetside Reddit. It's a story about a closed beta session on the 8th of August, and it was posted by Mr. BJ Pickles. And I personally do not know Mr. BJ Pickles, so I can't be 100% certain this is all true. However though, there are a few things that are backing up his story, and that mainly is that on the 8th of August, when he is saying there was a playtest, there have been a lot of developers from Planetside Arena, from Daybreak Games, spotted playing Planetside Arena. I think it is highly likely that there was some kind of internal playtest between the developers or between employees of Daybreak Games, but somehow this Mr. BJ Pickles ended up playing with the guys, and I don't know if he has any special contacts over there at Daybreak Games, but I am very jealous at him. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to read the text of Mr. BJ Pickles for yourself, what you can do right now is go to the description of this video and you will find the link to his Reddit page over there. But of course, while you're over there below the video, don't forget to also leave a little like, and if you'd like to see more content in the future of Planetside Arena, don't forget to press the big red subscribe button and tick the little bell icon as well. But let's get back to the story. Mr. BJ Pickles wrote this nice Q&A form, so let's go through it right now together. He starts off by telling, well, it wasn't really a playtest, so if you subscribe for the beta sessions, well, this wasn't for you. This was like an internal test on the 8th of August, and no, you didn't miss any invites. He also continues to tell that there was an NDA active, and I think it is still active as well, so he can't share any footage nor any media, so you can't see any videos of it, I'm sorry. What you're seeing right now in the background is not a game in the Planetside franchise called Planetside 2, and it's free to play, so if you like what you see, go try it out right now, of course. Mr. BJ Pickles then continues his story by saying, well, I don't want to break the NDA, but I do want to kind of, shed some light into this whole story thing about Planetside Arena because it is so silent. So he's sharing his thoughts and stories. The first question we see is, what did you really test? And he answers by saying, well, I tested one round of the game mode called Squads, and we did not drop out of any carriers. If you have seen any footage of Planetside Arena prior to the delay, you might know that instead of like random spawning, people just dropped out of carriers like a battle boss in Fortnite. Apparently, according to the story, they all spawned in a small dome, think of a micro warp gate, and it was like somewhere random on Amerish. Once all the players were loaded in, a countdown started, and when the countdown reached 0, the small dome disappeared, so the warp gate was gone. And apparently then the game started. Like in a normal BR, people needed to go find resources and guns. Before we move over to the next part, let's talk about this, let's discuss this, because this is actually really important. In the delay message, in the latest developer message actually, the developers were talking about, wait a minute, okay, so we know you guys don't really seem to like Battle Royale, so Battle Royale won't be the main game mode for Planetside Arena, but still, BR is on the table it seems. And personally, I do not really mind. I think BR is amazing as a game mode, but you need to spice things up a little bit. And that is also what he talks about in the next part. There were 3 squads and every squad had 12 members. So what ended up happening, it was 12 v 12 v 12. But then with the BR mechanics of finding your own resources and your own guns. When the game progressed, the dome became smaller and smaller and smaller. The same Battle Royale stuff, so enclosing circle. Apparently also, when the game ended, when the match ended, the servers locked. And it is worth noting that in this game mode, they were spawning with guns already. I do not know what kind of guns you spawn with, maybe like a small pistol, but I still do think that the best guns are somewhere there in the battlefield. To give you guys some personal information what I think about this mode, this game mode called Squads, I think it looks actually really interesting. I've been playing some custom game modes in PUBG, also with some bigger teams, also 1v1v1 like in Planetside 2 actually, and those are really intense game matches. Playing like this is really special, and for a normal game mode it is rather unique, but like I mentioned, I played something similar in PUBG, so this is probably not what people are looking for. I still think when I hear Planetside I think about bigger battles, so I am still hoping for bigger teams, like bigger than 12. It doesn't even have to be teams of like 250 players. If you make it like 100 versus 100 versus 100 in a Battle Royale environment, that would be also very cool. We do know for a fact that the engine can handle 300 players in a Battle Royale environment because that worked during the first playtest back in January. So that works, so I still think this is a possibility, but they might call it a bit different. I do have to say though that I think it's lovely that Planetside gives you the choice to play it a bit like Planetside 2 as well, because over there they also have squads of 12. If you think you have an amazing squad already playing together often and you think you work together as a team really good, then that might also work really well in Planetside Arena and it might give you some beautiful gameplay. What might also give you some beautiful gameplay is vehicles in the game, because Mr. BJ Pickles also mentioned vehicles, and his question was what vehicles were available. So he answers, you got your personal vehicle, the Flash or the hoverbike, it's called the Tempest, but also Vanguards for being driven by friendlies and foes. I have seen some data mining about vehicles like Vanguards and Thunderers and all those things, but this is the first time somebody actually saw a Vanguard driving over there. And Vanguards in the 12v12v12, that might actually work really well. But the question then is, how strong is the decimator? Are the decimators hidden somewhere in the field? But I do know that vehicles and anti-vehicle weapons can work really well in a Battle Royale environment. It works really well in Battlefield 5. So I guess it might be really interesting to see this in the future as well. But there are some more questions. One of the next questions is what weapons were available. And like he mentions, there are the new weapons like we've seen. It is the same Doku design on the new weapons. But also there were some Venu weapons available. But the main amount of weapons is still from the NS Armory. He then continues by talking about the underbarrels, but also about the grenades, and he saw multiple orbital strike grenades, and that looks really cool. I think I've seen multiple already in the playtest, so that is going to be very promising. But also there still was the void grenade, which creates a purple sphere and there's an explosion. This is not the first time we've seen the void grenades, because they were available already in the playtest back in January, and back then I was really enjoying the use of those void grenades, because those grenades could actually stick on player models. More about void grenades later. Let's go on with the graphics quality. And he mentions, well, the graphics of Planetside Arena has gone hard-boarded in comparison to Planetside 2. It looks very cartoonily and definitely reminds me of Borderlands. However, it does suit the game. It is unique and not a copy-paste of another game, or at least not trying. So, from what I've heard right now, I've got one main takeaway, and that is that the game looks cartoony, and from a first glance that actually really scares me off. What I personally like a lot about Planetside 2 is that it tries to show you this realistic space warfare. Planetside 2, I don't think anyone would say it is cartoony, not at all. Some might of course say, well Faye, but you do have the cat girls over there, the VS cat girls, and you have those nice bums over there as well, the Vanu in their spandex, but I wouldn't really say it is cartoony, not at all. But okay, what I've personally seen during the playtest back in January, that is a different experience than I would say cartoony. It did have some more saturated colors, and the effects I have seen, for example, from the orbital strikes, that looked really cool and also maybe a bit cartoony. But no, I wouldn't compare it to Borderlands. I think that's the wrong choice of words over there. The main takeaway from me is that, well, Planetside 2 and Planetside Arena share the same engine, and I also think they use a lot of the same textures, and these textures right now in 2019 feel outdated. The thing is, when you focus on making it more cartoony, more colourful, people will notice those things a lot less. People will look less at those trees, people will look less at certain things, as long as the game looks cheerful. I would personally say this is the Fortnite effect, because the Fortnite isn't also the most beautiful game. Actually though, the Unreal Engine makes sure you got some beautiful lighting over there, some good shadows, and the Fortnite engine is actually also capable of delivering some lovely lighting. But okay, well, we'll see. I think the graphics choice over here is really good, and I think it does fit the game like you mentioned. After discussing the graphics, the next question of course is, how does the game run? And I have not seen any in-game settings. What does he use? Is he playing Ultra? Can you disable shadows? Big question. But the answer to the question, is it optimized, is not as much as it could be. In my humble opinion, they need a restrict FPS to 60 option, because the fluctuation was really intense over there. It was skyrocketing and then crashing back to 60. So it made the game feel jacked and blocky. Again though, I do not know what kind of PC he was using, nor do I know what kind of settings he was using, and in my personal opinion, going back again to Planetside Arena in January, it played on 60 plus FPS the whole time. So no complaints from my side, but okay, let's see. Let's go to the next point. Are there any new features? I probably should have lapped with this, but they are testing out a third person element to the game. It was great fun, but I did feel disadvantaged when shooting with it. I played in first person, however it was easier to see more in third person, and I hope they fix this. When I heard this personally for the first time, I was really shocked, because I do not really like third person shooters. I am mainly a first person shooter, and that's one reason. Third person shooters always have this camping problem, especially in BRs, because what you can do with third person shooting is you can see around corners often. I think it is fine to have like vehicles in third person, because I think driving vehicles in first person is awkward, but shooting should be, I think, really in first person. So this is one of the testing things, and my advice to Daybreak right now is just lose the whole third person aspect, just focus on creating a fun to play first person game, and maybe if you actually achieve that, then you can maybe think in the future about adding a third person mode. But right now, please just focus first person and don't make us get a third person queue as well, because we won't have enough players for that probably. Anyway, that's my personal opinion about third person. If you have any different opinion about third person, let me know in the comments down below please. Let's go on though. How did the fights feel? Apparently the engagements were really familiar to the good old Planetside. However, everyone suddenly had a jetpack, so it reminded me heavily of Launchpad biolab fighting. The guns felt lighter and the gameplay was faster than traditional Planetside, but that's to be expected, especially with of course all the jetpacks. Cones and hipfire are a lot more important in this game. My personal take on this is that, well, this sounds fine. I like having the Planetside engagements, I like the shooting mechanics, but I also kind of like playing as an LA, and I think having everyone as an LA or some sort of light assault with a jetpack adds some fun to the game as well. Having fun and fast engagements will especially be a lot of fun, I guess, in the team deathmatch modes, so I'm really looking forward to that. And also in battle royales, I think it adds something special, because I don't know any other battle royales that use jetpacks so far, so that might be special as well. The final question Mr. BJ Pickles asks is, how effective were the classes? And he says he only played medic, and that's a shame I guess, because well, it is hard to compare if you only play as a medic, so I guess this will stay a question mark for now. Anyway guys, I think it is really important to hear this news, to talk about some leaks, to hear some stuff. I really hope that Daybreak Game doesn't think this is breaking the NDA as well. I think it is good to hear some things about the game, to know the game is still alive, it's being worked on. I have to quote also that in the Planetside Arena Discord, in the unofficial official Discord, we are talking about some more data mining leaks. So of course do feel free to join the Discord over there, link will be in the description down below. And if you want to talk more personally with me, of course what you could do is leave a comment down below. But you can also join my personal Discord, and also that link will be in the description down below as well. Other than that, guys, I am getting more and more hyped. I do think there are some rumors that the game is going to launch really soon. My personal bet is on September 1st, and that's actually also my birthday, and I do think it might be the correct date to launch this game. Just before Call of Duty, just before Halo, and that might get some real traction. But we'll have to see. We'll have to look and see, guys. So far though, that is me, that is Fable1, and I'll see you soon with some more content.